everyone! Today we're diving headfirst into the GameWizard Extreme to get an in-depth overview of its features and capabilities. So in this walkthrough I'll demonstrate how to connect and play Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and PC. As a bonus, I will also demonstrate Android and arcade game board gameplay. The machine does not come with any of these devices. You just need to add your own one in and play. No extra adapters are needed, so it is all super easy. You don't need to be an arcade technician to do any of the stuff shown in this video. So here we have our Extreme machine. As you can see, I've removed the front and back panels using the provided keys. Next to the machine, I have all my consoles and PC ready to be connected to the machine. Now, before I get started, I'm going to locate the HDMI cable and the dual-ended USB cable from inside the machine. So I'll start with my Xbox One. What I'm going to do is plug the two USB plugs into this Xbox One, followed by the HDMI. Then I will plug the Xbox into a power outlet. Conveniently enough, there is a power board inside the machine for doing so. Now I will connect the arcade machine to a power outlet, turn it on, and power the Xbox on. You should see it boot up on screen. Next, I'm going to plug my Xbox controller into the Player One USB slot on the control panel, and this will activate the arcade controls. I'll just double check that it is switched to console, not PC mode, and I'm ready to game. So as you can see, it is just as simple as connecting your console to a TV, but now I can play with a classic arcade playstyle. I'll choose a game, Killer Instinct. So as this loads up, I'll just run you through the control panel here. All of the buttons from the Xbox and PlayStation controls are here. We have the joystick for the D-pad. Then we have two trackballs, and by default the two thumbsticks are mapped to these trackballs, which also click down for the thumbstick click function. And I can actually use the switch to swap the left trackball functionality with the joystick, which can be handy in a fight. Yeah, so I have all the buttons I need to play my favourite games. And there's a second set so you can play with a mate. Oi mate, come on, let's have a game. You want to play with a controller? You just plug one in here, make sure the switch is on console mode, and you're ready to go. And yeah, so this is one of the things that separates a GameWizard Extreme from competitor machines. And that is you can play with arcade controls or plug in your controller and play. When I want to play another game, I can just exit the one I'm playing with this button, the home button. Alright, so I'll just brush through a few more games. And yeah, the arcade controls really give you unparalleled precision for playing arcade-style games, allowing you to make split-second reactions to game events with effective, well-calculated strikes. Or, if you're like me, you can just mash all the buttons at once. Okay, so now I feel like playing some PlayStation 4. So I'll swap it with the Xbox, and now I just need to take the HDMI and USB cables and plug them into the PS4. Now I need to power the console on. Plug the DualShock 4 controller in, power it on, and I'm ready to play, just like that. So once again, there's no need to change adapters, nothing technical or complicated, it's all super streamlined. So now I'll play Street Fighter V. I'm super pumped for this, since it hasn't actually been released for arcade. So, here it is at last, live and indirect from the Arcuda offices. Let's do the Xbox 360. So, by now you know the story. Plug in the USB cables and the HDMI, power it up, then I plug in the controller, and kick butt. And this takes me back to my childhood. Nostalgia of hunting for coins down the crevices of couches, going into the dark depths of furniture where no adult arm could go, just so I could go to the laundromat and play some Double Dragon. Last but not least, for the consoles, we have the PlayStation 3. Do I really need to explain this again? Plug in the HDMI, USB, power, controllers, and play. Easy as that. No change of harnesses or adapters. All easy peasy. And it's just as easy to play PC. So here we have our gaming PC. To connect a PC, once again, there is no need to change any adapters. All we need to do is plug in the HDMI and USB cables and power the PC on. Then we switch the control panel from console to PC mode. Hey? Yeah? Yeah, you know what that switch is for. Once it's booted, if you have the PC mouse switch set to on, then you can use Player 1's left trackball to control the mouse cursor. Trackball movements will move the cursor around the screen. Pressing down on the trackball works as a left click, and Player 1 A button performs a right click. So you can use your mouse to select a program on the screen. I'm going to start up Steam, and I'll just switch it to big picture mode. Usually I have this machine set to boot up straight to Steam big picture mode, which is extremely user friendly with the arcade controls. Yeah, and I like to play from my Steam library, but you might choose to play from good old games, Origin, emulators, or even floppy disk. You know, whatever you're into, yeah. So I can play arcade classics, or I can play games that were never released for arcade, and some of them I actually prefer using the arcade controls for. Gauntlet, for instance, which is actually a remake of a classic arcade title. And I'll choose a Valkyrie, yes, and kill some skeletons. Bam, bam, bam. For some games, I still need the finesse of a hand controller. So I can still plug in and play with my Xbox control when I need to. And yeah, I'm playing Grid. I'm just driving along here. And sometimes I prefer to aim with my mouse, so I can also plug that in and fire away. Which I'm doing so right here, Kane and Lynch in arcade mode. For other games, I like having access to hotkeys, so I can also plug in my keyboard and use that too. And I can play with any combination of these I like, for the ultimate in playstyles. So that was a custom built gaming rig, but the Extreme Machine is also compatible with devices such as the Raspberry Pi. So if you want, you could load an emulator onto a Raspberry Pi with some games. Connect it up just like before. Plug in the USBs and HDMI, and there you have a budget game board for your arcade machine. The Game Wizard Extreme is compatible with all of these games devices with no extra adapters needed. The wiring inside uses a jammer harness, which plugs into the patent-pending control board, which is why our machine is the most advanced in the market. We are confident it will also be compatible with upcoming consoles such as Microsoft Xbox Project Scorpio. Arcooda offers firmware updates for the control board, so if an updated console is released which has USB controller support, then with future updates, the Game Wizard Extreme should be compatible. Cross-promotion alert! Coming soon to Arcooda is the new Game Wizard for Android machine, which uses the same control board found in the Game Wizard Extreme, but with a pre-installed Android gaming box. We'll be demoing this great new machine in future videos, but the reason I mention it is to say that you can also plug and play Android gaming devices into the Extreme machine, so long as it has the correct HDMI and USB ports. And then you can play compatible Android apps on this machine too. So here we have an Android TV device, and I can play a few classics on it here. Many Android tablets and other handheld devices can also be connected. And we have an Android tablet plugged in here, which I've admittedly used a USB to micro USB adapter to connect, and also a HDMI to mini HDMI adapter. So I can test out some of my mate's tablet apps on the machine while he's off in a meeting. The joystick's used to select an app, and then the buttons to start it up, and you're playing games again. If you're a hardcore arcade gamer and want to put a current generation arcade game board in the machine, then go for it. The Extreme Machine has all parts included to do so, no extra bits are needed. All cables, harnesses, and power supply are already here in the machine. So I have a Taito X2 game board, which is very similar to the latest Taito X3 system, and it is running King of Fighters 13. I can just connect it with a few plugs and cables, and I'm gaming a game. To further demonstrate, I've got a Naomi Virtua Tennis Power Smash game board, which I'll plug in. And yeah, now I'm playing another arcade game board. Mark Philippoussis, haven't heard of him for a while. So it really is an all-in-one machine. I can swap in and out any compatible arcade game boards, PCs, or gaming consoles at ease. No adapters or extra parts needed. And it's designed for arcade gamers, by arcade gamers. Now, for demonstration purposes, I've left all these devices outside the machine, but there is storage space inside the machine. So you can place your console or PC into the machine and everything is neat and tidy. And that's it. Incredible, isn't it? I'm signing off. As we say at Arcuda, a game never over.